When I printed this Bulbasaur model, everything was great except where the supports had contact with the model. So I started doing some experimentation and was using a PETG support interface layer. It came right off the model. Easy detachment. That was great. But the issue I had was I still had all these support lines. So I started doing some experimentation. Ran a little experiment here. Default settings, 0.4 top interface, and PETG interface. And of course, I had to run a control. The control came out great, so this would be a great starting point to compare everything else to. This one is normal grid settings. I didn't change anything. I just sliced it up. And it's a little hard to remove, but once I get a good grip on here, you'll see it slowly start to come off. Came off in a few different pieces, but I eventually was able to get this one taken off. And I think this one printed great. Just was a little bit harder to remove. Then moving on to the PETG interface layer, it just slides right out. Because PETG does not bond well, or if at all, to PLA, it just slid right out. That one came out really well. And this is the 0.4 top Z layer. And once I get a good grip on this, it just slid right out as well. No issues with support, scarring, or anything. Next up is the normal Snug at default settings. And again, once I got a good grip on there, it pulled it right off, detached with no issues. Just had to use a little bit more force. Then here is the normal Snug again, with PETG interface, and you can tell, slid right off again. Comparing the two normal and Snug for PETG interface there. And the one thing I'm noticing so far is there's no major scarring issues, like with where support would be at. Like normally, with a lot of models, you have that issue. But again, that could be due to the geometry of these models that I'm printing out. And here we have the 0.4 top interface, pulled it right out just fine. And this is the default Snug support option. Once I got a good grip on here, and a little bit of force, it came right out. I had no issues with it getting stuck to the actual model. And here we have normal Snug with the PETG interface layer. Didn't slide out like the other ones. That's because the PETG detached from the supports. That's because, like I said earlier, PETG and PLA just don't mix that well. But I was able to fish out the interface layer here pretty easily. But when looking at the actual underside, we see where the PETG might have globbed up a little bit and stuck to the top layers. Now here, I got my cubes mixed up a little bit, so I will start talking about that a little bit more. But this is default tree. Well, just PLA, a little bit of force, snapped right out, no issues. And again, this is tree default with PETG. This actually came off when I was removing the build plate. So as you can see, the PETG interface layer so far, the support's removed really easily. And this is where I realized I went out of order. So I'm going to backtrack slightly here. And go back to the, this is the tree Snug with the 0.4 Z-top interface offset for the supports. Again, removed really easy. And this is the 0.4 tree default. Snapped right off. I did notice in this one, the bottom lines didn't look the best compared to the other ones. I'm not sure why. And this is tree slim normal settings. Snapped right off. Everything looked pretty decent. And again, same thing I've been seeing with the other PETG interface layers. It just comes right off with no issues. Again, same thing with the 0.4. This is tree. Let me see what number this one is. I think this is tree hybrid. Is this cube 7? Yeah, this was tree hybrid normal settings. This is tree strong with the PETG. I did a terrible job with the camera angle here. I'm sorry about that. But it came right off. And those lines you're seeing of PETG, they should come right off when you fish them out. Again, this is tree strong with the 0.4 Z offset in the top. This one a little bit harder to remove. It had that brim on it, but still pretty easy to take off. And this is tree strong with the default settings. One thing I might do in a future experiment, if I do this again, is try different geometries. Oh, look at that. The tree hybrid just popped right off that one. And this is tree hybrid again with the 0.4. And it popped right off, but I was terrible with my camera on that one. I am sorry, guys. And this last one will be tree organic normal settings. No issues popping that off. And as you can tell again, the PETG one just melted like butter. Came right off. And for the 0.4 top, same thing, came right off. Just looks really nice there. One thing I did want to point out is just how weak these bonds are. I can peel the interface layer off these supports with just my hand. That's why using a PETG interface layer with your supports sometimes I think can be really good. But it's going to depend on, I think, a lot about your geometry of your model. But I encourage you to run your own test and don't take what you see here at face value. Run your own test to make sure this works for you first.